top 10 Dana White Contender Series fighters from season 8.
I see my haters proud of me now. When I'm around, it's all smiles. I took over my whole town.
Kick this list off is going to be a combination of how I think they're going to do in the UFC and how they performed on the Dana White Contender Series. And here is my honorable mentions before we get this list started. So let's jump right into it. At number 10, this man probably had the most resilient fight the whole season after getting dropped early in the first round and coming back and getting a finish in the second round. My guy, Daniel Franza. Will Franza ever be UFC champion? Probably not, but I feel like he can give us some really, really good fights in the UFC in the welterweight division. At number 9, we have a model in the UFC who lets his hands fly. That's an easy way to make a fan out of me, and we got Mr. Islam Dolotov. His opponent in the welterweight division from this man, I feel like there's going to be a lot of extremely good matchups that they can give Islam Dolotov in the future. Will he become champion? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a 6. The only woman that made my list this year was a huge, and I mean huge underdog. I think it was like plus 800. Boring fight, women's flyweight, right? Wrong. Yunsi Dubin. After getting blitzed early in the first, Dubin came back with a massive overhand right that absolutely fenced up her opponent, and I cannot wait to see her fight again. Does she become champion? I truly have no idea. I give it a 50-50, 5 out of 10 chance of that happening. She's going to be a fun fighter, hopefully. Underdogs is what make this sport great. Taking fights on short notice is what make this fight great, and whenever you're able to do that in the main event and get the fight done under a minute versus somebody that a lot of people are scared of, then Nik Lentz is going to be a very, very bad man. When he locked that choke in, he wasn't going nowhere. The fight was pretty much over as soon as he got his hands together. And I don't know what Nik Lentz does in terms of future, as in champion status. Does he get there? Probably not. Give it a 4 out of 10, but he should have some really, really exciting fights in the future. At number 6, we have somebody who starting the fight. I do not think will ever make a list like this, but he showed that he can grapple a little bit, which I think that was probably his not going into the fight. He grappled the entire first round and the second round. The second round is when the violence came, and that man, Andreas Gustafson, put a cap on week 2. And we have another fighter at 170 who we can see some really, really good fights out of. Does he become champion? I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Coming in at number 5, I want you to think of this. I want you to think of Robelis Desipane, all the hype he had coming in, but think if he had a ground game. And that is pretty much this man, Talis Terera. During week 6 of Dana White Contender Series, we've seen a giant 6'7" heavyweight filled out, deliver one of the brutalest right hands probably in Dana White Contender Series. I mean, this man hit him and it was over immediately. Like, nothing was necessary after that. Talis Terera is a true heavyweight, and I feel like whenever true heavyweights get into UFC, they tend to rise up pretty fast. Is he able to become champion? I give it an 8 out of 10 in favorability that he does. At number 4 on the list, we have a city kickboxing fighter, and city kickbox fighters are known for 2 things, patience and KOs, and this light heavyweight can do both of them, Navajo Sterling. Week 5 of Dana White Contender Series, seen Sterling go out there and deliver one of the best left hooks I've seen in a while. I mean, it put him out completely cold in a fight that Some people will say that he was kind of not looking too good in. I thought he looked pretty good. But yeah, week 5, Navajo Sterling put on an absolute show. Does Navajo Sterling become champion at 205? I'm not sure, because I feel like Carlos Ulberg in a couple years is going to get that belt, and I feel like he's going to hold the belt for a while, but I give him a 7 out of 10. Number 3 on my list, this man showed that he has a very diverse offensive game and a very, very hard to hit defensive game. Knocking somebody out going backwards is extremely difficult, and it's very, very cool to see whenever you do see it. So with that being said, Mr. Malcolm Wellmaker from week 3. With that being said, Mr. Malcolm Wellmaker from week 3 earned his spot at number 3. Does Malcolm Wellmaker become a champion? I'm not sure. I give him a 8 out of 10 also. Coming in at number 2, we have a flyweight who showed that he has power that looks like it belongs in the featherweight or middleweight division. We had Lerone Kavanaugh after he knocked out Holt inside the first round. Will Lerone Kavanaugh become champion? I have no idea. I give it a 6.5 out of 10 chance, but if he does, road to it starts earlier. But if he does, the road to it starts later this year. But if he does, the road to it starts later this month as he fights on the Dickinson Figueiredo versus Peter Young card, and I think he should win that fight. Coming in at number 1, probably the fight of the year in my opinion, we have a middleweight who showed that he can go past the first round. After all his previous fights ended before the first round ended, we have Mr. Mansur Abdul Malik. It was a grueling pace from both of them. Hopefully we see Wes Schultz in the UFC also. I feel like he's going to be a fantastic fighter. But Mansur Abdul Malik, he looked like he was still ready to go for another 4 rounds if it needed to, which surprised me. A lot of people, including me, did not think he had it, a gas tank to go further. But he showed me, and he showed that he's vicious all throughout the fight. Does he become champion? I feel like he has a very, very high chance of doing that. I'll give him a 9 out of 10 to become champion. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think about my list? Let me know down below. Who would you put on here? Who would you take off? Like always, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Be good people. Peace.